Hi. Yeah, I know. Inktober. Whoops. This is not that video. Um, I will put that video up soon, but not today. Today is going to be a little different. I'm not going to be doing a bunch of edits and stuff. I just want to be pretty straightforward. I really want to talk about this. So, bear with me, I guess. I did draw something for you though. So, I'm going to start playing that right now. And yeah. Anyway, Spider-Man No Way Home is out. I've seen it. Hopefully you've seen it. I know the tickets have been crazy difficult to get, but I'm going to talk about it. It's not really going to be a review. It's just going to be me kind of talking about the movie, going over some stuff. And so before I get into anything, spoilers, because God, yeah, spoilers. I literally wouldn't be able to talk about this movie unless I was talking spoilers because there's practically nothing but spoilers in this movie. Okay, last chance. This is your final spoiler warning, okay? If you haven't seen the movie, I would highly recommend going and watching it. I'm sure it's difficult because tickets are sold out everywhere, but wait a bit and then go see the movie, all right? See it for yourself. It's good. It's a great experience to have. You got to see this, man. You got to see it for yourself. It's good. It's a special thing, all right? So I'm gonna start talking about the movie now, okay? They did it, man. They really did it. I know that like it was everywhere, and we all pretty much knew, right? We all knew that they were gonna be in the movie, right? But they did it. I don't know. There was something about the way Andrew Garfield, I think specifically, was talking in interviews, and there was one interview. I think it was like I don't know what show it was on, but he directly said, "I'm not in the film." And there was just something about the way he did it and the way he said it that kind of made me believe him. And I was just like, damn, maybe he's not in the movie. Is he really not in the movie? I wasn't sad about it. I was just like, man, maybe we've all been wrong this whole time. And so seeing him pop up through the sling ring portal thing, I was excited. I was more excited than I thought I would be, actually. Yeah, I don't know. I don't enjoy his movies that much. I think Andrew Garfield is a fantastic Spider-Man. I don't think he's that great as Peter, but I think he has his moments for sure. I think the two movies were not that good, but I think, I don't know, there's just something about him as Spider-Man that really felt good, felt right. Especially in those smaller moments when he really had a chance to shine and show how much he really cared about the character, and his Spider-Man got to show how much he cared about people and saving people and all of that. But then Toby showed up, right? And oh man, that one got me. I mean, they both got me, but the Toby one, oh, he's so unassuming and it's so perfectly in character for him. I've heard a few people talk about how they felt like they weren't really true to the characters while they were there. And I disagree, actually. I think they were very much in character, and it felt like the proper evolution to these characters to where they were going after their movies. And speaking of after their movies, Andrew said that he stopped pulling his punches eventually at a certain point. So was he referring to like he's been killing his villains? Like, is that what he's been doing? He seemed off in a lot of ways. Like he's still kind of broken. Like after losing Gwen, he never was able to fully recover, which is, I think, accurate to what that Spider-Man would be feeling. And I don't know. It was kind of heartbreaking in a lot of ways. His performance was incredible, though. And even though Andrew Garfield was only on screen for maybe like, 30 minutes, 35, 40 minutes, he made me almost cry like 4 or 5 times when he was describing losing Gwen. And then when he saved MJ, which was a beautiful moment. That was incredible. The way that he leaped in a much different way from when he went for Gwen to make sure that he caught her. He didn't use any webs. all of that. It was beautiful. His reaction when he started tearing up after they landed and he's like, I did it, it was a bittersweet moment for him and it was a bittersweet moment for us to watch. He's incredible. His performance was fantastic. His performances are always fantastic. Andrew Garfield he's a wonderful man. Tobey Maguire felt perfect. I think where he was at mentally felt like the right evolution. He felt like he had come out of his shell a little bit more as Spider-Man. Like he's really come into his own and he's grown and he's probably gone through a lot. I don't know what he would have gone through. He didn't really talk about his time, but he just felt more mature. And I know that they were probably just going for a more, it seemed like they were going for the more mentor approach. Like he was the more experienced Peter. He's the one who could really level everyone out and make sure that people, or the other two Peters, were on the same level. And the main Peter, Tom's Peter, that he could teach him something and that they would all come out of it with something, but that Tom would really be able to gain something from this experience. And I feel like he did. Tobey Maguire's Peter felt fantastic. And my favorite moment, probably my favorite moment in the entire movie, was when they were talking about the cure. And this was after Goblin had killed Aunt May, which I'll get to, but I'm working my way through it. He said that he had an idea for a cure for Goblin, and that he had had time to think about it. I'm keeping all this in, by the way. I'm not going to edit much of this. He had a lot of time to think about different cures, and Tom Peter looked at him, and the way Toby was like, we've got to cure all of them, right? There's just something special about that. It hit me. It touched me, He felt right. And I mean, he was my Spider-Man growing up. And, yeah, I love Spider-Man. I love the Raimi Spider-Man, of course. How many YouTubers have you heard talking about that? How many people on YouTube have you heard talking about how much they love Spider-Man? Just in general, over the last couple weeks or a few months even. I'm sure too many. But I'm going to add my own 2 cents to this overly saturated market because it's still special to me. I know I'm not unique in loving Spider-Man, but I do. So here I am. Aunt May dying, I didn't think they were going to kill Aunt May. That caught me off guard. It shocked me, genuinely, which was nice to actually have something that could shock me at this point, where I feel like I knew everything about these movies already, or this movie already, because all the leaks and, so many various things. I wonder if they're going to do some sort of a sorcerer thing with Ned, since he was able to get into it so quickly and it was kind of already in his blood, which is what they made it seem like. I always thought that they were going to go the hobgoblin route with him, but maybe they won't. Maybe they're trying to save that for something else. Maybe they will. I don't know. It's hard to say. If they were going to do goblin or hobgoblin, I was hoping that they'd probably do the Robert Kingsley route rather than the Ned route, but it is what it is. Yeah, the Aunt May scene was heartbreaking. It was touching. Tom Holland's performance in this film was fantastic, much better than I think he's ever done before, and he's always been good, but there was just something about the way he was in this that it just felt way more real and visceral, and the emotions were raw, and you really felt all of it, Everything felt dynamic and real and good. I didn't care for Electro, but I think he was like, I liked him because I like Jamie Foxx, but that's about it. You know, he didn't really feel like he was doing much of a characterization. He just kind of felt like he was Jamie Foxx doing Jamie Foxx things, you know? Also, why was Electro there? Because it was said that the spell works on, or was bringing in people who knew that Spider-Man was Peter Parker, and Electro did not know that. From what I remember in the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie, granted I haven't seen it in a while, I feel almost like I'm one of the only people who has seen that movie, because that movie wasn't great, you know, but from what I remember, he definitely did not know that Peter was Spider-Man. I don't think so. So why was he there? Also, since I'm on that topic, why was Venom there at all? Because he didn't know, and he doesn't have a Spider-Man, so how could he have known? Is it because of the whole hive mind thing that goes across dimensions or across realities or universes? Was he connected to another Venom that knew who Spider-Man was, or was he connected to the Topher Grace Venom from Spider-Man 3? Because he found out who Spider-Man was. Why didn't he get part of this movie? I mean, we know why he didn't get part of this movie, because Spider-Man 3 sucked, but still, you know, like, I don't know. I just, that part didn't make sense. Also, Doctor Strange said that it was all of their fates to die, right? That they all died fighting Spider-Man. But I don't think that's true, right? Because Lizard didn't die, he got cured. And Sandman didn't die either. He was forgiven by Peter at the end of it. They were on the same side. And speaking of Sandman, why was Sandman bad in this movie? Like, he started out good. He was good at the end of Spider-Man 3. He started out good in this movie. He helped Peter out. It just seemed like he went back to the dark side like way too easily. He was convinced by Goblin's speech. Granted, Willem Dafoe speaking like that could probably convince a lot of people of a lot of things. He's an incredible performer, but like, that didn't sit right. It felt wrong. It felt weird. I didn't like it. I don't know. This is my critique section, I guess. I appreciate that Venom was there and that they are going to do something with the symbiote, right? That's cool. I love that. But why was it? I don't know, man. Something about it it felt strange. Doctor Strange. Sorry, dumb jokes. I really didn't like Sandman. So are the villains being sent back to their same time that they were taken from, but good now? Like, cured? Or are they being sent? But also, hold on, before I finish that sentence, are they, if they do get sent back to the same time from where they were taken, wouldn't they just die? Because like Doc Ock was in a river, right? And Goblin was about to get stabbed by his own thing, the glider. Electro would have been overblown by all of that electricity being pumped into him because he was trying to become pure energy. There's a lot of, like, would they get sent back to current times, like in those universes respectively? But what would that mean? You know, would Doc Ock then become a crime fighter and like start working with older Tobey Maguire Spider-Man as a crime fighter? There's a lot of things, all right, that I'm confused about. How do they get sent back? How does it work? How are they just there? Like, I don't need the explanation. That's just a lot of the random dumb crap that I'm thinking about. Like, it doesn't really matter, I guess, right? But I don't know. This is what I thought about a lot of the time. Alfred Molina gave a fantastic performance. It really felt like him and Willem Dafoe just kind of slipped right back into where they were before. They both just worked, you know? It felt like if you went from watching Spider-Man 1 and Spider-Man 2 of the Raimi series into watching this movie, it would just be like, man, they never left their characters, you know? Like they have been in character ever since. Like you would never know that it was like 20 years between then and now. So good. When Peter fixed the inhibitor chip and Doc Ock finally had that awakening moment of just being Otto again, that was great. And the way that his eye movements were looking around, you know, like the way he was realizing that the voices were gone and that he was just him again, finally. And that relief that came across his face and the happiness that he was feeling immediately afterward. Oh man, it was so good. And so much of his expressions were exactly the same type of expressions that he was making in Spider-Man 2 when he first started hearing the voices. It was the same type of thing, but reversed this time. It's beautiful. I just really wanted to highlight a bit of Alfred Molina because so many people that I've heard talking about this movie specifically focus on Willem Dafoe, and Willem Dafoe gave an incredible performance, don't get me wrong, but don't overlook Alfred Molina because he was doing some wonderful stuff. He's a fantastic actor, and I just wanted to give him his recognition, okay? Not that he's gonna watch this video, but still, I want to show my appreciation because I love Alfred Molina. I've loved him ever since I first saw him in Indiana Jones. I know he's just a bit part in that, but still. And then him in Spider-Man 2, obviously. Willem Dafoe, man, I never thought I'd say that he gave a better performance as Goblin in this movie than he did back in Spider-Man 1, because his performance in Spider-Man 1 was beautiful. The duality that you feel with this man, with this character, is incredible. The way he really shows you that it's either Goblin or Norman without even having to, like, say a word. The fact that he can do it all just through his expressions, ridiculous, man. That's crazy. He's just so good. It's like mind-boggling, you know? But yeah, that's just Willem Dafoe. We knew he was gonna be crazy because he's always just so good in everything that he's in. So I really gained a new appreciation for Homecoming and Far From Home after watching this movie because I see now that he was never meant to be fully, like, full-fledged Spider-Man, which, I mean, I can't say whether or not that was entirely planned or if they just kind of took into account all of the complaints that a lot of us were making about Tom Holland Spider-Man and how he, you know, he didn't feel like Spider-Man, he felt like Spider-Boy or, you know, Iron Man Jr. and all that, right? Iron Boy Jr., which is redundant, but a lot of people say that. This movie, he finally, even though it was only toward the end, he finally felt like Spider-Man. And actually, he felt like he became Spider-Man at the end, but he did more Spider-Man-esque things in this movie than I think he did in any of the other ones. At least for me. Like, his interactions with Doctor Strange were very Spider-Man-esque. The fact that he was able to use math, even though it was much simpler math than what Doctor Strange would normally use, he used simple geometry in order to figure out that dimension that they were in, the shattered dimension, the mirror dimension. And Shattered Dimension, that's a Spider-Man game. The mirror dimension. And he figured it out, and he used math in order to very quickly outsmart Doctor Strange. And that's a feat that very few characters would be capable of. And Spider-Man did that, you know? It's impressive. also showing a bit of his innate power by after Doctor Strange like pushed him out of his body, like removed the soul or spirit from the body. Peter was still like the what was it, the spider sense, I guess? Spidey sense was kind of keeping him from letting Doctor Strange grab the box or whatever that was. I don't know exactly what that was. There's kids talking, sorry. I don't know what that was exactly, but I'm assuming it was Spidey sense related, which is cool. And the fact that Peter was able to pull himself back into his own body is another feat of Spider-Man specific abilities, I think. Tom Holland gave a fantastic performance, like I said. I loved that Toby was there to be the one to stop him before he killed Goblin, before he fully, crossed over and did something that he would definitely have regretted. The spell at the end, making him completely forgotten by everyone, was crazy and kind of insane, ridiculous. But I loved it personally. I think that's the most Spider-Man thing that they could have done. And the fact that he chose to not remind Ned or MJ and bring them back was also another, show of him truly being and becoming and feeling like Spider-Man in this movie. He actually felt like Spider-Man. He was alone, which, it's tragic, right? But that's what Spider-Man is. He's a very tragic character. And Spider-Man is very near and dear to my heart. So him being tragic is something that I really appreciate in him as a character. Something I look to and look forward to. Something that means a lot to me, because that's who he is. That's who Peter is. That's who Spider-Man is. He deals with horrible tragedies, but he turns it around and he's still the amazing Spider-Man, the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, That's important to him. That's what actually makes him Spider-Man, And I hadn't felt that in the MCU movies before, but by the end of this one, they made me feel it. And pretty much every complaint I had about Tom Holland's Spider-Man and the first two movies and the movies that he's been a part of, they pretty much had an answer to everything. And it was that his Uncle Ben moment, his with great power comes great responsibility moment, hadn't happened yet. He wasn't Spider-Man yet. He was actually Spider-Boy, or however you want to put it, he wasn't there yet. And this movie was his transition into officially being Spider-Man. But yeah, I loved the movie, obviously. It did a lot for me. It meant a lot to me. Seeing Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire come back and reprise their roles as the previous Spider-Man was wonderful and lovely, and all the positive adjectives you could possibly throw at this. I had a great time. I'm literally going to go see the movie again today, so that's what I gotta do. It is my birthday today. I'm doing this on the morning of my birthday, so happy birthday to me, I guess. You know what? A good birthday is just hanging out and talking about Spider-Man. That's pretty great. I do have a birthday wish, though, and that birthday wish is that you are taking care of yourself, both mentally and physically. These things are important. If you have something going on and you need someone to talk to, I'm sure you can find someone who will listen. There's professionals. There's me, you could leave a comment on this video and be like, hey man, what's going on? I need someone to talk to, and I'll talk to you. I'll respond to any comment I get. Just please take care of yourself. You matter, and there are people who love you, and there are people who will help you if you reach out. Don't forget that. But I think I'm done. Like I said, I obviously loved the movie. I love Spider-Man. I know you've heard a lot of YouTuber people say that over the last few months, especially the last couple of days, probably. I'm sorry to add to that oversaturation, but a lot of people love Spider-Man, and I'm one of those people, okay? Spider-Man meant everything to me. When I was a kid, he was the person or the character that was there that made me feel like I wasn't alone. He made me feel like I was understood, like there was someone else who dealt with the same type of things that I dealt with, in a way, more or less. Just that feeling of being out of place. I always felt that. Felt that a lot as a kid. I still feel that, but, you get it. Spider-Man matters to me, so. Yeah. I've rambled a lot. This is 26 minutes now, and that's the longest video that I've ever put out. And hopefully you enjoyed the drawing. Hopefully you liked it. I really liked this piece. Obviously, it's the three Spider-Men doing their thing. And yeah, that's it for me. I'm going to get out of here. I hope you had a good day. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please leave a like maybe, huh? All right. I'll see you in the next one.